Well friends, in the earlier module we have discussed some elementary aspects, rather introductory aspects of waveguides, especially different types of waveguides, the terminology used in connection with waveguides and applications of waveguides, etc. Through electromagnetic waveguides, electromagnetic wave is propagating. The main question is how to obtain the solution of the wave equation. Wave can propagate through an unbounded medium. When it enters the waveguide, it is same wave is propagating through the bounded medium. So, what is the difference? How the solution is obtained? The answer is given by mathematical method which is called as separation of variable method, and the equation which we have to deal with while solving the wave equation is famous in the literature as Helmholtz equation. Helmholtz equation, it is del square of psi is equal to gamma square of psi. That is very important when we discuss about the waveguides, and in this module we are going to discuss the solution of Helmholtz equation mainly in two coordinate system, rectangular coordinate system and cylindrical coordinate system. Let us discuss about it in brief. After completing this module, you will be able to know about Helmholtz equation and the method of separation of variable to solve it in the rectangular and cylindrical coordinate system. Also, you will learn about the solution of Bessel differential equation. In addition, you will understand the role played by zeros of Bessel functions in waveguide. In the case of a wave, one has to deal with variation of amplitude with space coordinates and time coordinate. If psi denotes the amplitude of a wave travelling with speed v, then the space and time variations in the wave motion are coupled to each other through the partial differential equation as shown. The expression for Laplacian operator del square and psi depends upon the coordinate system suitably selected to describe the wave motion. Thus, for example, in the case of wave motion through a rectangular waveguide, Cartesian coordinates is a good choice. Accordingly, we have psi as a function of x, y, z and del square as shown. On the other hand, in the case of a wave propagating through a cylindrical waveguide, it is suitable to use cylindrical coordinate system. In this case, we have psi as a function of r phi z and del square as shown. Note that sometimes instead of r, one may use rho as the coordinate. As seen in the earlier module, as the wave propagates through the medium, its amplitude may decrease due to loss of energy and the phase will change with time. These two facts are accounted by the two quantities, namely attenuation constant alpha and the phase constant beta respectively. Thus, we have a single constant gamma equal to alpha plus j beta known as a propagation constant of the wave. The wave equation involving gamma in its dimensionally balanced form becomes as shown. The linear inhomogeneous scalar equation is known in literature as Helmholtz equation after the great German physician and physicist Hermann Ludwig Helmholtz. The mathematical treatment of waveguides needs the knowledge of solution of Helmholtz equation. Let us discuss about it in brief. We know that starting with Maxwell's equation, the wave equations for E and H vectors which we can derive are as shown. If we consider sinusoidally time varying electric and magnetic fields, then these equations take the form of Helmholtz equation, but in vector form. Let us have a look at the steps involved. Here we obtain the same result for gamma in the case of magnetic field vectors also. At this stage itself, we note that gamma is equal to alpha plus j beta. If beta is non-zero and imaginary, then z beta, and hence gamma will be real, meaning thereby that the fields E and H both will go on decreasing in their strengths, and hence the wave cannot propagate further. Secondly, if beta is non-zero and real, then z beta will be imaginary, meaning thereby that the wave will propagate further. Thus, we note that for the electromagnetic waves to propagate further in waveguide, beta must be non-zero and real. We note that Helmholtz equation in general is a second order partial differential equation. The amplitude psi can be a function of more than one variable. It can be solved by the method of separation of variables. The method consists of obtaining a set of ordinary differential equations by expressing psi as a product of functions, each one being a function of one variable only. Let us see how Helmholtz equation is solved in the rectangular coordinate system using the method of separation of variables. Let psi be equal to psi of x y z. Helmholtz equation in the rectangular coordinate system is as shown. Now, let psi of x y z be written as a product x into y into z, where x y z are functions of x, y and z coordinate respectively. Substituting R2 in equation R1 and then dividing by psi, we get equation R3 as shown. Each term on left hand side of equation R3 is a function of only one variable, while right hand side is a constant. Each term on left hand side of equation R3 is a function of only one variable, while the right hand side is a constant. This observed fact allows us to write the equations in the form as shown. The set of equations called as 4a, 4b and 4c, they are ordinary differential equation. Thus, gamma squared can be written as minus the sum of kx square, ky square and kz square. Note that kx square, ky square and kz square are taken negative, so that gamma squared is negative and gamma is imaginary, which keeps the possibility of propagation of the wave open. The solutions of ordinary differential equations 4a, 4b and 4c are given by the expressions phi a, phi b and phi c as shown. Equations phi a, phi b and phi c give the desired solution of psi in equation 2. This completes the general solution of Helmholtz equation in rectangular coordinate system. Let us see how the solution of Helmholtz equation in rectangular coordinate system can be applied for propagation of electromagnetic waves in rectangular waveguides. Consider a rectangular waveguide of width a and height b with coordinate axis as shown. Consider an electromagnetic wave propagating through the waveguide in the positive direction of z axis. From equation 4d, we obtain the expression for gamma squared as minus the sum of kx square plus ky square plus kz square, from which we get minus kz square is equal to gamma squared plus kx square plus ky square. Let gamma g squared be equal to minus kz square represent the propagation constant of the wave in the z direction through the waveguide. Then we have the relation gamma g squared is equal to gamma squared plus kc squared, where kc is under root of kx squared plus ky squared and is known as the cutoff wave number. We should note the difference between gamma g and gamma. Here gamma is the intrinsic propagation constant of the wave when it is propagating in an unbounded dielectric medium, while gamma g is the propagation constant of the wave when it is propagating in a bounded dielectric medium such as waveguide under consideration. The two constants, namely gamma g and gamma for the same wave, are not equal. they are different from each other. This is bound to be so because of the power losses due to the conducting walls and the dielectric present in the waveguide. Thus, we have gamma is equal to alpha plus j beta and gamma g is equal to alpha g plus j beta g. Before we proceed further, let us note few simple relations as shown. These relations will be used further in simplification of some results. Using these relations, we can express gamma g in terms of what is known as cutoff frequency. In the case of an electromagnetic wave, we have seen that gamma squared is equal to minus omega squared mu epsilon plus j omega mu sigma. If the medium is non-conducting, then sigma is 0. Hence, we have gamma squared is equal to minus omega squared mu epsilon. With this, we obtain gamma g squared is equal to minus omega squared mu epsilon plus kc square. Depending upon the value and the nature of the propagation constant gamma g, three different cases will arise regarding the propagation of electromagnetic wave as discussed below. Case number 1, no propagation of electromagnetic wave. At certain frequency omega c of the electromagnetic wave, if omega squared mu epsilon is equal to kc squared, then obviously gamma g will be 0. This implies that both alpha g and beta g are 0, indicating the fact that there will be no propagation of electromagnetic wave through the waveguide. The frequency omega c equal to 2 pi f c is called as cutoff frequency and can be obtained as shown. Case number 2, propagation of wave. If omega squared mu epsilon is greater than kc squared, then under root of kc squared minus omega squared mu epsilon will be purely imaginary. Thus, we have gamma g equal to plus or minus j beta g. The number beta g will be real and the wave will propagate through the waveguide. Using the relations described earlier, we can express gamma g in terms of cutoff frequency as shown. For propagation of wave, gamma g and hence beta g must be non-zero and real. From this, we understand that the operating frequency f must be greater than the cutoff frequency f c for the electromagnetic wave to propagate through the waveguide. Case number 3, attenuation of wave. Gamma g will be equal to plus or minus under root of kc squared minus omega squared mu epsilon. Here, if kc squared is greater than omega squared mu epsilon, then obviously gamma g will be real, causing beta g imaginary. Using the relations described earlier, we can express gamma g in terms of cutoff frequency as shown. Thus, if f is less than f c, the wave will be attenuated. Consider a rectangular waveguide of width a and height b with coordinate axis as shown. From the above equation, we understand that if the frequency f of the electromagnetic wave is smaller than f c, then the wave will decay exponentially, since alpha g is greater than 0 with a factor of minus alpha g into z as it propagates through the waveguide along the z axis and vanishes. Therefore, the solution of the Helmholtz equation in the rectangular coordinate system for electromagnetic wave travelling in the positive direction of z axis finally takes the form as shown. The constants a, b, c, d and the wave numbers k x and k y can be obtained by noting the type of electromagnetic wave T, T main etc. and using the boundary conditions of the waveguide. If we consider T or Tm wave propagating through this rectangular waveguide along the positive direction of z axis, then in accordance with the boundary conditions, it can be shown that kx is equal to m pi upon a and ky is equal to n pi upon b where m and n are positive integers. It be noted that for TE wave, m is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. and n is 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. up to infinity with m plus n greater than 0. That is, m equal to n equal to 0 is not allowed. For Tm wave, m is equal to 1, 2, 3, n is equal to 1, 2, 3, that is m into n should be greater than 0. We will see the reason why m equal to 0 and n equal to 0 is not allowed for T wave, and why neither m nor n can be 0 for Tm wave when we derive the equations for E and H fields using Maxwell's equation in subsequent modules. For the time being, let us accept this result. The values of m and n specify the mode of propagation TEMN. Thus, for example, m is equal to 1, n is equal to 0 gives TE10 mode. With m is equal to 1, n equal to 1, we get TE11 mode, etc. Substituting the values of kx and ky in the expression for Fc, we obtain Fc is equal to 1 upon 2 under root mu epsilon into square root of m square upon a square plus n square upon b square. The mode with lowest cutoff frequency is known as the dominant mode of the waveguide. Accordingly, TE10 mode is the dominant mode in the case of rectangular waveguide. Surprisingly, you will find that the mathematical expressions for cutoff frequency Fc, guide wavelength lambda g, phase constant beta g and phase velocity Vp for TE and Tm waves are the same. The expressions are as shown. The only difference lies in the case of guide impedance Zd. Compare the expression for Zg in the two cases. The variation of guide impedance Zg with frequency f of the two type of waves is exactly opposite to each other. Well friends, so far we have discussed the solution of Helmholtz equation in the rectangular coordinate system. We know that cylindrical coordinate, they are useful for solving any problem whenever there is a cylindrical symmetry. So, if we consider propagation of electromagnetic wave through a circular or cylindrical waveguide, obviously we have to use cylindrical coordinate system. Hence, the wave equation, that is Helmholtz equation, is to be solved in cylindrical coordinate system. Rho, phi and z, these are the three coordinates in cylindrical coordinate system. Rho and z, they have the dimensions of distance, while phi is having the dimensions of angle. We have to use the expression for del square in cylindrical coordinate system, and the wave function of psi will be a function of rho, phi and z. So, let us see how the Helmholtz equation, namely del square of psi rho phi z equal to gamma squared psi of rho phi z can be solved using the method of separation of variable here onward. The Helmholtz equation or wave equation in cylindrical coordinate system is as shown. The Laplacian del square in cylindrical coordinate system is as shown. For application of the method of separation of variable, express psi as a product of three functions r, f and z, which are the functions of only one variables, namely r, phi and z respectively. Substituting expression C2 in equation C1, after little simplification, we obtain the expression as shown. Divide each term of the differential equation C3 dash by psi equal to Rfz to obtain the equation C4 as shown. Here, see after division of each term by Rfz, we are left with equation C4. The equation C4 can be rearranged as shown. We note that in this equation, right hand side is a function of only z, while left hand side is a function of only r and phi. Each of the two sides can be equated to the same constant, say minus gamma g squared. Thus, we have two equations as shown, namely C 6 and C 7. If we multiply each term of this equation by r square, we get equation C 8 as shown. Look at the equations C 8 and C 9. Note that right hand side of equation C 9 is a function of phi only and the left hand side is a function of r only. Thus, the variables r and phi have also been separated. Equating each side of equation C 9 to the same constant n square, we obtain two ordinary differential equations, one in r and the other in phi as shown. In equation C 11, put gamma g squared minus gamma squared equal to k c squared. With this, the equation C 11 becomes as shown. Thus, finally, we have a set of three ordinary differential equations C 6, C 11 and C 12. Let us discuss in brief about the solution of the three differential equations. Consider equation in Z. Its solution comprises of exponentially increasing and decreasing terms as shown. Since the wave is assumed to be propagating in positive direction of z axis, the divergent part of the solution, namely b into e raised to gamma g z, can be deleted and we have to choose z is equal to a e raised to minus gamma g into z. Now, gamma g is equal to alpha g plus j beta g. For lossless dielectric, alpha g is 0, hence gamma g will be equal to j beta g. With this, we get z as a function of z is equal to a e raised to minus j beta g z. Let us call this equation as equation number C 13. Differential equation in phi is as shown. Now, consider the differential equation in R. This equation is very famous in literature and is known as Bessel differential equation of order n. The solution of this differential equation are known as Bessel functions of first kind and Bessel functions of second kind. Some other types known as spherical Bessel functions, modified Bessel functions, Hankel functions also make a prominent part of study of Bessel functions and find many applications. However, we will not discuss about them here. Bessel functions are named after Friedrich Wilhelm Bessel. Daniel Bernoulli was the first to introduce the concept of Bessel functions in 1732 in using the function of zero order as a solution to the problem of an oscillating chain suspended at one end. While dealing with Kepler's problem of three body motion under mutual gravitation, Bessel invented these functions. Further, Bessel used these functions in a study of indirect perturbation of a planet, such as motion of the sun caused by the perturbing body. It is very interesting to read the historical aspects related with Bessel functions. Bessel functions find applications in diversified fields such as electricity, hydrodynamics, diffraction, optical fiber communication, etc. Now, consider Bessel differential equation C 12. The Bessel equation has two solutions, Jn KCr and Nn KCr. The first solution, Jn, is known as Bessel function of first kind and the second solution, Nn, is known as Bessel function of second kind, Weber function or Newman function. It is denoted in literature as Yn of KCr also. Hence, the general solution of the Bessel differential equation of order n under consideration is given by r is equal to Cn into Jn of KCr plus Dn into Nn of KCr. Thus, by using the method of separation of variable, we obtain the solution of Helmholtz equation in cylindrical coordinate systems as shown. Let us call it as equation C 15. The constant A can be absorbed in the other constants and need not be shown separately. The other constants, namely An, Bn, Cn and Dn, can be determined by applying the boundary conditions of the problem. Let us see how can we simplify this solution in the case of propagation of an electromagnetic wave through a cylindrical waveguide of radius a along the positive direction of z axis as shown. Observe the function RR. In the plot of Newman function Nn of Kcr versus Kcr, it will be observed that the function becomes infinite at r is equal to 0, which implies infinite value of psi at r equal to 0. When we apply the solution of Helmholtz equation for electromagnetic wave in cylindrical waveguide, psi must be taken to represent E or H fields which are supposed to be finite at every point including r equal to 0 inside the guide. Owing to this fact, the Newman function cannot be a part of acceptable solution. For this, we have no option but to assume that dn equal to 0. With this, the solution reduces to the equation as shown by C16. Now, consider the function f of phi. With the help of an interesting technique in trigonometry, we can express f of phi in a compact form as shown. Further, taking advantage of arbitrariness in the choice of reference for measurement of azimuthal angle phi, we can reduce the equation as shown. Thus, the solution psi for cylindrical waveguide under consideration becomes as shown, where psi 0 n is a constant which includes Cn and Fn. It will not be out of place to discuss some important points about the solution of Bessel differential equation and Bessel functions. The Bessel differential equation in one of its simplest and familiar form is as shown. The solution of this differential equation can be found by a power series method known as Frobenius series solution method. Each one of the two solutions designated as j nu x and j of minus nu x are infinite series in x. The mathematical expression for j nu x is as shown, where gamma n is n minus 1 factorial is known as a gamma function. For non-negative values of nu, these two solutions, namely j nu x and j of minus nu x, are linearly independent. However, for integral values of nu, it is not the case. Let nu be equal to n be an integer. Then the two solutions are linearly dependent, satisfying the relation j of minus nx is equal to minus 1 raised to n into Jn of x. The solution Jnx is known as Bessel function of first kind of order n. Let us have a look at some representative plots of Jnx. The value of x at which Jnx becomes 0 is called as 0 of Bessel function. Infinite values of x exist at which Jnx becomes 0. The second independent solution for integral values of nu, say nu equal to n, is known as Bessel function of second kind or Newman function or Weber function of order n and is denoted by nnx and also by ynx. Newman functions are useful for physical problems such as modeling electromagnetic waves in coaxial cables or in quantum mechanical scattering theory. For any integer n, nnx is infinite at x equal to 0 and possesses infinite number of zeros similar to that of Jnx. Let us have a look at some representative plot for nnx. The mathematical expressions for ynx are as shown. Due to the infinite series nature, it is very difficult to obtain the exact values of zeros of Jnx, nnx and their derivatives. One has to use numerical methods for best estimation of their values for a given x. Online softwares are available to plot the Bessel functions and compute the values of these functions and their derivatives for any order n and for any value of x, both real as well as complex. For example, see the approximate values computed for x is equal to 1 plus j for n equal to 0 and n equal to 3 as shown in the table. The values of x at which j n x becomes 0 is called as 0 of Bessel function. Infinite values of zeros of Bessel functions exist. Standard tables are available stating approximate values of pth 0 of j n x, n n x and their derivatives for different values of n. As an example, have a look at some of the values of pth zeros of j n x and its first derivative j n dash x for some values of n and p. Zeros of Bessel functions play an important role in many applications in physics and electronics. For example, the sidebands in frequency modulation are determined by zeros of Bessel function. The diffraction pattern of light through circular aperture, analysis of vibrating circular membranes are the application areas in physics. Friends, a question may arise in your mind. What is the concern of zeros of j n x and its first derivative j n dash x with cylindrical waveguides? The answer lies in the fact that these zeros decide the cutoff wave number k c and the cutoff frequency f c of T N P and T M N P mode. In the next module, we will prove that the expressions for cutoff frequency and cutoff wave number are given through the relations as shown. Noting the zeros of j n dash k c a and j n of k c a, the expressions for cutoff wave number and the cutoff frequency for T E N P and T M N P modes in the case of cylindrical waveguide of radius a can be written as shown. Here x n p is the pth 0 of j n k c a and x dash n p is the pth 0 of j n dash of k c a. One should note some important points of comparison, the advantages and limitations of cylindrical waveguides and rectangular waveguides. In a system like radar, an rotating antenna is used at the receiving and transmitting ends in circular waveguides due to its geometrical shape and ease in application. Circular waveguides are characterized by large power handling capacity. Circular waveguides offer low attenuation at a given cutoff frequency. We need to adjust only one geometrical parameters, namely radius in circular waveguides as against to two parameters, namely width and height in the case of rectangular waveguides. Possibility of the rotation in the state of polarization of the wave is one of the drawbacks of cylindrical waveguides. Well friends, as a summary we can remember that Helmholtz equation in cylindrical and rectangular coordinate system can be solved by the method of separation of variable in the respective coordinate systems. If the frequency of the electromagnetic wave is less than some particular frequency known as cutoff frequency, then that electromagnetic wave cannot propagate through the waveguide. The cutoff frequency depends upon the type of mode and the mode numbers. Lastly, the zeros of the Bessel function play an important role in waveguides as well as various applications in electronics. Thank you.